There. You turn your speaker off. Or we're gonna get feedback.
There you
Sure if I'm gonna be able to do this or not. Okay, we'll see. So what do you see? Do you see that?
Yes, see it fine.
Yeah.
go.
There's donuts, by the way. I stopped at Krispy Kreme. So free donuts. If you don't eat them, I'm gonna have to take them home. So.
Where can you get some wood? Where can you get some wood? Wood, yeah.
There should be water down there in the hall. There's coffee. There should be coffee there too. This is all courtesy of Oracle, by the way. Okay.
To run NetSuite or?
NetSuite. It's complicated, right?
Yeah, it's, I think in my experience, and what he was saying was that, no, I wasn't gonna say performance, I was gonna say what he was talking about initially when he was saying you're coming from a previous system, right? And you're going to NetSuite. I think a common challenge is the change, exactly. So what happens a lot is also, like he said, where kind of fall into this trap of you can just rebuild exactly what you had before, right? Which then it's kind of like, well, what was the point of doing this if you're just going to rebuild what you had before? So I think that's a pretty common challenge in getting people to kind of get used to it and buy into the change and be able to.
You got to embrace what is NetSuite.
Yeah, exactly. And if people have been doing something so specifically for 20 years, that's a very hard thing to change.
Easy to change on the either way, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Either NetSuite. The menu.
for sure. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Did you say you were able to get them to
Yeah,
make some
yesterday I was
coffee or
trying
get
to
something?
convince me.
They're bringing water in cups.
I can show you where the coffee is.
Oh, there is actually somewhere else? Oh, awesome.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
right now, a lot of information is dependent on shipping address.
Okay.
It's something tied to the shipping address,
Mhm.
so every time it needs to go to the shipping address to get.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's very difficult because they are used to that.
So you have like one customer with, let's say, 1,000 shipping.
Yeah, exactly, 100 ship to,
Mhm.
and some of them are like VMI customers,
Mm-hmm.
EDI, VMI customers,
right.
yeah, so that's okay, because it's the same path, it's products are just going into different gates.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All the shipping address are the same, it can be under the same customer, but in some cases, there are different paths.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's best to set them up as individual customers, so we can utilize, for example, planning and budgeting.
So you can pick.
Planning and budgeting.
Yeah, right.
SPG, right?
Yeah.
Right now, planning and SPG is not being working for us because we have this kind of relationship.
Mm.
Is anyone saying?
You can sit there. Sure.
That's interesting.
But
Your culture spot.
Yeah, so for each.
Your fault
that's
is
where
about-
it's-
Oily?
We say, okay, it's gonna help us in this way, that way, that way. Then our people will come up with 10 different things for each point that we are making.
Right.
So, yeah. It's another challenge.
Yeah,
I should travel to Kyoto.
I mean, I was gonna say that too, like the.
Wait, Mark.
Reporting requirements are, it can be doing the parent child. Can make things challenging maybe in some ways, depending on what you need to do, but um,
But it's
it shouldn't be that bad to do it, to set it up as a parent child
Right.
overall.
Yeah. Because now we can run the reporting based on the shipping address.
Yeah, that makes it hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So you only found out about us, you got the email from NetSuite? Yeah, that's from NetSuite, right? Yeah, so NetSuite will send like a blast before we do an event to all the customers in the area. So- Thank you. Yeah, it's a constant challenge trying to get people to get the word out there.
So you're not an Oracle employee?
No.
Are you moderating this group?
Yeah. No, kind of. We'll see.
I'm pretty sure you said it was the Gavin show.
It's the Gavin
about
show.
5 minutes ago, so.
I worked for NetSuite for 12 years, so which is why we can get this space.
Oh,
So, yeah.
It's very.
I do know where the dead bodies are. Yeah. No, I work for TrustCore. We're a NetSuite customer. So what's the agenda? I don't usually run this part. Okay, welcome member introductions. Remote meeting begins. What time is it? Okay. So in person. So I'm Gavin Davidson. I'm with TrustCore. We make a PVC alternative to drywall. So panels are 16 inches wide, the interlock. They're 8 to 24 feet long, and you put them in your garage, etc. So we've been on NetSuite for a year and a half, I guess. 2 years, not 2 years in May, won't be live. And we sell through this distribution. Yeah. So, but you can buy. So if you go to Home Hardware, you can buy our product in any Home Hardware.
But you're not selling directly.
No, we sell through the distribution only, and we're starting to get into Home Depot in the States as well. We're doing like smaller 8-packs of the product as well, because we sell full skids and full truckloads. So, but before that, I worked at NetSuite for 12 years in the manufacturing vertical. I joined as a SE doing demos, and then ended up in the product team. So I'm going to tell you a little bit today, hopefully, about things that are going on with the product. So so I actually started this user group when I was a NetSuite employee, which isn't allowed. So I was kind of like a consultant for them. But now I'm co-chair along with Mark, who's not here today. He's busy. Mark used to work at Danby, but now he's also a consultant. So
I'm Paul Stanchuk. I'm the CFO of Stealth. We'll talk about Stealth later. I have presentations, so I will not talk about this now. So we're with NetSuite on NetSuite since 2007. But in 2020, I had to 2020 or 19, 20, I think. I started. I became the administrator of NetSuite. So I have all the inside knowledge of problems and issues and workarounds and stuff like that. So that's the whole story.
Hi, I'm Darcy.
Ah.
ah,
For 4th of January.
You got a nice small room.
hello, Lisa.
Hi, mate.
Yeah, we're in but this is the only room where the audio works, apparently.
Well, that's a good setting though, because everyone's face to face and lots
Yeah.
of conversation. I'm envious.
I know. Yeah, they can see you. Wave, everybody wave.
Right,
It's just picking up.
right here.
You can see that.
Right here.
Well, they can see you too. Cool.
Hi, my name's Leo Hicks. I've been using NetSuite for about 8 years, mostly in consulting roles. But I work for Swift Test now, which is a automated NetSuite testing certified suite app. So that's what I'm here for.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Yan Jin, and I'm from Clean Environments, and with NetSuite for the 1 year. And nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
My name is Guo Xi, from Clean Environments as well, as data analyst. I've been with the company for almost 10 years. We've been on NetSuite a year and a half. We have a lot of challenges, especially performance-wise. It is running very slow right now because of all kinds of scripts running behind. So today I see we have this pricing topic here. I would like to see how pricing works in NetSuite natively, because everything in our environment is customized. Yeah, next time I will prepare presentation for our company as well, because I see a lot of potential customers here.
Cool. Happy to help.
I'm Nicholas Smith. I'm the Director of Business Enablement and the administrator for our NetSuite instance at Alert Labs. We're a technology company. We've been on NetSuite since 2022.
Lou Pinto, I'm from Promax Automotive, the brake supplier, automotive aftermarket. We are 3 months into our implementation of NetSuite, so please tell me all your horror stories so I can avoid them.
Are you, who's doing implementation? NetSuite or?
No.
And how's it going so far?
Working on map data that our walkthrough. We've got a bit of a challenge bringing.
Yeah.
So the two tentacles that we're trying to tie together. Yeah, 3 months.
SPS Commerce should be fine. They're a big NetSuite partner.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about SPS. What are you doing for WMS?
Quarter one, I jump.
So you're trying to integrate that?
Yeah, well, we're currently on a Sage system that is integrated with both systems, so we're migrating from that to
Okay.
there.
Cool.
Thank you.
So Lisa, you heard from, and so Darcy and Paul are also on the user group board. And so if anyone wants to get involved, let us know. We're always looking for other people who wants to volunteer. And
Yeah, no, I just joined this next week when I can. I'm gonna anyway.
thank you.
What's that? I'm on.
Darrell's going to be. Hey, Darrell, can you mute people?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm anyways. I think I'm gonna drop.
I can't see it, but she's. Okay. So the whole idea of the user group is I've been involved with user groups my entire life, basically, with other systems and stuff. So we are the official NetSuite user group for Ontario, soon to be all of Canada. We're just trying to figure out how we do that, but we have permission from NetSuite to basically be the Canadian user group, which will probably mean more online meetings and in-person meetings. But we think there's, it's important to try and have a Canadian voice when we talk to NetSuite and talk about enhancements and that sort of thing. So the goal is, networking opportunities, Lisa in particular is a big fan of promoting enhancement requests and telling us which ones we should vote for. She'll maybe talk about that a little bit later. Share experiences and knowledge. I worked in NetSuite for 12 years. I know the product pretty well. More importantly, I know a lot of people there. So if you guys are having issues and you can't get answers, then let me know. I can usually talk to somebody and get your voice heard a little more. And Mark has always been a big fan of having this friendly learning environment. So I guess that means we can't make fun of anybody, but we'll see. And so, yeah, we want to try and be a voice for change and advocate for NetSuite Canadian features in particular. There's no membership cost. We basically cover, this is free, courtesy of Oracle. And so we have sponsors. We have a sponsor today who's someone that we're actually a design partner with. It's just an AI procurement app, which is kind of cool. So hopefully I can show you that a little later. And so we get money from the sponsors basically. So that's how we fund anything that we need to buy. So that's the board basically. We're trying to get like a better online presence, somewhere where you can go and ask questions and we can answer each other. We've tried the LinkedIn group, doesn't seem to be that great. There's a couple of other things we're looking at, and so hopefully we'll get that going shortly. Suite World is in October. This is the NetSuite user conference in Vegas. I would highly recommend you go if you have the ability to go. We usually get a discount code for user group members, so it's basically the same as the early bird price, I think. But I've been at every one except the first one, and I'm going again this year. So yeah, I'd highly recommend. Who else has been? Anyone else has been? You've been? Thoughts? Like it?
Yeah, for sure. It's great.
It's really good. It's the best place to go and meet with other customers and that sort of thing.
So like the networking idea, like I'd have to sell this to my senior leadership, right? So what would I get out of it if I went?
So there'll be like 5,000 NetSuite customers there or so. So like somewhere 3,000 to 5,000 customers are all there. So the format is they'll do a keynote. There's two keynotes. One is like a product keynote. Another one is like a general NetSuite themed keynote. So they'll talk a lot about what the features they're working on. You're going to hear a lot about AI, of course, this year. So outside of that, there's sessions that run on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think it is. It could even be Friday. There's 3 or 4 days of sessions that you can sign up for, hosted by NetSuite employees and usually customers. I have 3 sessions again this year I'm doing on various topics. So I'm doing one on procurement. I'm doing another one on supply chain and using the allocations engine. And the third one is on, I forget what the third one is. But if you go to shortly, there'll be, when you go to the Suite World website, netsuiteworld.com, there'll be a list of the sessions. And then basically the idea is it won't give you like and they're divided into tracks. So like an operations track, finance track, that sort of thing. And then you can actually reserve spots in the sessions that you want before you go. So content's generally pretty good. They've got a lot stricter at making sure that I'm vetting the content in it. But there's also an expo there with NetSuite partners. So if you're looking for add-ons, and there'll be lots of consultants there too. But NetSuite has a demo pod area So if you have specific questions, you can go and you can talk to someone who's an expert in manufacturing, procurement, bit as you want. And they'll be able to walk you through new features or existing features and things too. So there's a whole bunch of other things. Plus, it's a lot of fun. And there's a party and all that sort of stuff. So, I'd highly recommend. We'll send out like the link to the agenda with the sessions as a follow up. And then we're trying to think of doing some kind of event, summer event, probably at a bar somewhere, and maybe do like a trivia night or something. So we'll try and figure out a date for that and do something a little bit more fun.
Are most of your members right now in the Toronto area?
No, they're all over. So basically, once we become the Canadian user group, so the email that you got inviting you to this went to all NetSuite customers in Ontario. That will expand to being all NetSuite customers in Canada. So we'll probably have to start doing if we do that, we'll probably have to start doing like 1 o'clock meetings, not 9 o'clock meetings, because the West Coast will be a few hours behind. But we'll figure that out. I think it just makes sense. We also do once a month. We do like a lunchbox meeting. And so it's just like an hour from noon to 1. Me, Mark, whoever else wants to join. And the idea is you can just log in and ask questions and we'll try and answer your questions. It's kind of like a group hug / therapy session.
Open discussion.
So yeah, there's no agenda. You just log in and ask questions and hopefully someone will be able to answer your questions. Okay. So we tried to get someone from NetSuite to do this, and we didn't get anybody. So I went and I stole some slides from another partner who did their top 10 features of 25.1. So I'm going to go through those, and then we'll be in some discussion about if there's anything that you guys are using or looking to use in the current release. And then I'll give you a little bit of insight as to what NetSuite's working on as well.
Have most people updated to that already?
Everyone should be on it by now. Right.
We're not on yet. Ours got delayed.
Right. I know there was some, we pushed ours because Lisa had told us there was some issue with closing the periods, which is not a good thing. So we pushed ours to like a week or so ago. I think that's all resolved.
It's already fixed, Gavin.
That's good. Not that I care. I'm not in accounting, so not really my issue. But yeah, general rule of thumb, if you have the ability, try and push it towards the end of the release cycle, unless there's something that you really, really need in the new release. Depending what level you're on, what subscription level you're on, you should have the ability to choose your upgrade date and time, and push it out further. I think is that still just for premium or whatever they call it, Lisa? Or can everyone do that now?
Yeah.
We're not sure. Maybe everyone can do it now. Okay. So, top 10 features. Some of these are going to won't be that relevant to some people. So when I worked at NetSuite, I worked on the industry product management team, and so I used to be responsible for creating the release notes and different things for the new features. They do generally listen to enhancement requests, so it's not going to be an instant thing where you vote for an enhancement request and they fix it, but they do look at the customer votes for enhancements, and every release cycle, the leaders in the product team are asking every team which enhancement requests they're fixing in that release. So generally is something that they look at. Suite billing is the recurring billing module that's gone through a couple of different rebrands. Is anyone using suite billing?
We are.
And generally,
I hate it.
it has got better over the years. It's a very complex thing, and there's lots of nuance, etc. So, yeah, it's something that if you have it, then what is there specific gaps?
It's just very complex,
Yeah.
and it's very, the management overhead of it is high for us. We try to do as much as we can outside of NetSuite in terms of automation. So our CRM is in Salesforce, so passing that information over to NetSuite, nobody has a connector that does that automatically, so we have to build one and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. And we put all of our opportunities in Salesforce, and then we use Sligo to create NetSuite sales orders.
Yeah, that's what we do as well, but Sligo doesn't have a native pipe for suite billing. So
Right.
we had to create that
Yeah.
through Sligo.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, why are you not using the CRM in NetSuite?
Historical reasons. We've always been a Salesforce customer. So.
Generally speaking, if you were, so when I worked in NetSuite, if you were working with a prospect and they had Salesforce, there's no way you get them to change to NetSuite. Depending on the industry, I mean, so for my industries, manufacturing, distribution, NetSuite CRM is perfectly fine for a lot of those customers. But if they're on Salesforce, there's no way they're going to switch. It won't happen. Even though it's functionally perfectly fine. But there has been a big focus on suite billing. Remember that a lot of NetSuite's large customers are software companies, and so they have a lot of revenue recognition and billing requirements that were handled by third parties for the most part. So suite billing has been an attempt to try and keep some of that revenue from going to partners, basically. And so it's gone through a couple of rebrands and a couple of redesigns. I think this design is actually pretty good. It's just there's a lot there, and there's a lot of rules, and there's a lot to it. So there you go. So this by the way, this top 10 list came from a UK based partner, but they did a pretty good job of it. So okay, quality management. So I was actually involved with this a little bit. So there is a quality management suite app in NetSuite that is designed to run off a tablet. And so basically the idea is you can tell it when to do inspections, and it's got better over the years. So then you can do a receiving inspection, you can do pre-delivery inspection, you define what the inspections are, what the acceptable test results are. You can capture values, it'll tell you whether it passes, fails, all that sort of thing. And so this is generally, I think it's the $500 per month or something like that for it. So and so it's definitely worth checking out if you do that sort of thing. Supply planning workbench. So this is MRP basically in NetSuite. And so it runs on a schedule and basically runs pretty much like traditional MRP. We run this. We don't actually use the results that much, but I run it as a kind of double check. And the thing that our users don't like about it is that you have to go to this supply planning workbench to go and review the results, and it doesn't look anything like any other NetSuite screen. So they're really working on this design thinking concept. Which means that you end up with with screens that are built for a specific purpose. So in theory, that means that they're better for the user to use. The downside is that you end up with screens that and functionality that is not familiar to users, which to me was always one of the benefits of NetSuite, that if you do a transaction, if you can do a sales order, you can do a purchase order or an invoice or anything else, because they all work pretty similar. So I think it has resulted in a little bit of divergence in look and feel.
So you say you do it to validate decisions that you make on purchasing. How close are the results to the action you take?
The results are fine. Like, so we have it working pretty well. We do a lot of we have to buy our product's PVC based, so we have two plants. And in Calgary, we make our own compound, so we have to buy resin. And basically, it comes in on a trains. A train comes into the yard, so tankers come in basically. And so our lead time for that is like 3 months or something. So we do a lot of long-term forecasting and trend analysis to decide how much resin to buy. Because if you have to suddenly order resin to come in by truckload, it's a lot more expensive. So we're basically doing a lot of Excel planning just to figure out how much raw material to buy. So, but it actually works pretty well, and there's some really good, nice parts to it. It just doesn't look like any other screen in NetSuite. So that's the biggest challenge I've seen with it. But functionally, it works pretty well, and it's free if you have. I think as long as you have advanced inventory management, which everyone does, I think it's included. So.
Do you use NetSuite planning and budgeting for planning?
We do not use NetSuite planning and budgeting. We use Adaptive. And there was an issue with planning and budgeting with the integration, basically, when we were looking at it. So we didn't. And our CFO had used Adaptive in a previous life. So. All right. So basically, for the plan for MRP, they added a new supplier filter. You notice that these are kind of small enhancements. I'll talk about why they're small enhancements at the end, and try not to get myself in trouble. Is anyone using NetSuite fixed assets here?
No.
Yeah, we use it pretty heavily.
Has anyone tried any of the new features? Did you know there was new features?
I did look through them. Mostly setup pages from the looks of it, and we don't really we deal with leases too often, so I don't think anything too impacting for us.
Yeah. I was surprised to see this on the list, because I hadn't seen them do anything with fixed assets for a while. So, but it makes sense that they're doing something around leasing. Again, because there's third parties who are offering asset management add-ons specifically around leasing. So
Are we allowed to talk about those?
yeah,
Any suggestions? Because we are drowning in fixed asset management right now. We have over 800 assets that we're tracking all the time. And our biggest limitation right now is that we can't have multiple invoices attached to one asset. We've had to kind of develop our own manual side of it to do that.
sure. Darcy, do you use? So we use, oh God, what do we use?
NetGain. I think you use NetGain, don't you, Gavin?
We use NetGain. That's what I was looking for. We use NetGain.
NetGain's got the market from the point of view of intercompany functionality of moving assets from one subsidiary to another. It's fairly robust. I'm surprised by the comment of multiple invoices. There you can aggregate invoices into one asset, and I thought that was the default behavior of NetSuite as well. Because it just all goes to a clearing account, and at month end you say create asset. That's what I thought.
Yeah, so this is what we use.
Yeah.
And not, I don't know much about it, to be honest, but as Lisa says, it's they probably have the market pretty much. And there's some really smart guys that work there that I used to work with. So I'm not surprised they've done a bunch of cool stuff.
But and the net lease is good as well. I've used a lot of the net lease.
Sorry, what was that?
Net
Net
lease,
lease.
and
It's
then
net loan is the same concept. It's automation of big ass schedules that need to be drawn down. So they've got that in the bag. They've started to try and creep into other people by having the net close functionality because they can see the market is there to help people cope with a lot of volume and try and control who the hell's doing what.
yeah. Yes, we have net asset. The next thing we might look at, we've looked at a couple of closing solutions, but we've not done anything yet just because we're 2 years in and we've done a lot, really. We've done a lot of customization and etc. So our next things we'll look at will be some kind of AP automation tool and potentially like a closing. And there's lots of one thing close features as well. Yeah, yeah, thanks. Yeah. So, okay, so this is where you need to go. SuiteApp.com. And so you can go asset management. There you go. And this shows you all the options. So.
And you can do that inside of NetSuite as well. There's Suite App inside the bundle. You don't have to Google SuiteApp.com.
We'll talk more about this later, but the thing they've added here, which thank God, is you can actually now go say NetSuite products. And so if I can see this off, there you go. So now you can go and see all of the NetSuite add-ons. A lot of which are free. Some of them aren't. And so you can go and see what things are available to you. They didn't have that. They just added that NetSuite product filter recently.
I used to search on NetSuite.
Right. Which didn't really work very well.
No.
Okay, number 6, Suite Analytics. I keep on trying to, I think like everyone else, we keep on trying to use Suite Analytics, and then coming up against something that it doesn't support, and then you stop again. So I've not done it again recently. We bought NSAW, the NetSuite Analytics Warehouse, in December. We got a really good deal. So and so we've been working on that. So I haven't really looked at Suite Analytics recently. But I'm going to show HTML formulas a little later in the saved search section. So I'm assuming it's something similar to that. Has anyone turned this on?
Yeah.
And
It's just a skin on top.
this is
Though.
so okay. So when I was at NetSuite, this has been a thing they've been working on for a while. And so there's this big push towards this new Redwood UI. And so now you can turn it on in NetSuite and see what it looks like. There were some issues that my team had with it at the time that haven't really been resolved around some of the spacing on the pages and stuff that didn't make sense. Really what they're doing is about 7 years ago, they branched the code. And so they started to work on the next version of NetSuite. really what they're trying to do is separate the UI from the code. And so the plan was that this new product has a code name, NSX, NetSuite Next, basically. And they were going to release a product from like an entry level product based on it. And apparently they just changed focus on that, and now they're basically trying to work on basically the next NetSuite platform, a new improved NetSuite platform. And I heard the other day that the plan is now that they'll have it available for like 80% of the customer base in like 2 to 3 years. So we'll see what happens. But that's also why there's not as many new features for the current product, because they're working on something else at the same time. So yeah.
Does that mean they're going to actually change the database at all, or are they just changing the appearance of the data?
Both.
Ah.
Yeah. So the initial plan was to not change the database to make the upgrade path be easier, but then there's certain things that have to be completely overhauled. So how do you completely overhaul it without changing the structure?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of infighting about that, and some people aren't there anymore who lost. So
Okay.
Customer 360, I've not tried this recently, but I did add it into our account last year. The challenge is that our sales ops team use Salesforce exclusively. So there's a limited market for it, really. Our sales reps don't have access to NetSuite except through they use Employee Center, and they use the mobile app for entering expenses. It might be of use for some people, but I would definitely give it a shot. It's free.
It's not customizable.
Right.
You get it out of the box and not really the KPIs that you may like to see. It would be something that NetSuite thinks are important.
Yeah. This one's kind of exciting. I know we all love CSV imports. And even though they can be a little finicky in NetSuite at times, they've added support for item receipts and item fulfillments by CSV import, which is a big step forward. And I believe there's going to be some AI input on CSV imports as well. So don't be surprised if there's some AI assistant to make imports a lot easier. Actually, the guy from Emirates who's going to talk later, Ariel, he might have something to say about what they're planning around about doing CSV imports using their AI tool. So
I have a question. Is there a possibility to schedule the CSV import?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. I Google online, I see some third parties providing that kind of a service. They can build scripts or something.
Yeah, I think you can. I don't natively you can't schedule them. I don't think, but I don't think you can.
No.
Lisa? No, you can't.
But there are.
I'm sure there's tools that would make it easier.
So what was the question?
If you can schedule CSV imports.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Some legacy data that we legacy transactional
You
data
can-
that we moved to NetSuite. And there's a lot of errors of stuff we are trying to fix that. And along the way, because of the customization scripts, sometimes it just breaks, right? We need to fix the data. So, but personally, I can't do CSV import during the day because I need to enable certain fields on the transaction. So I always do it after hours. So I just thinking of it for the way.
Right.
Yeah,
And sometimes we have our PIM system, which is mass data management. Our product information is stored there. and we sometimes the integration doesn't work, or we do some mass updates. I just want to have this capability.
Yeah,
Yeah, to stay with that.
common script is to drop a file onto a file cabinet for
Right.
it and then have a schedule script going to pick that up. And
Yeah, thank you.
there you
Embedded AI. So I've not tried this recently. I'm looking forward to we bought NSAW. And so there's meant to be in NSAW either now or shortly, like an AI so you can ask it to tell what sort of report you want and it'll create it for you. Looking forward to that because we were using Power BI and apparently Power BI added it. So yeah, that looks pretty promising. They showed that at SweetWorld last year, and it looked really cool. So I want to see how that works. The initial attempt at AI was around it would create like item descriptions or that sort of thing for you, which for us doesn't make any sense because we're selling our own. It's not that if you're reselling something, I can see that might work. It doesn't really work for us. So, but I do know that there was a direction from Gary, who runs the product team at NetSuite, to all of the teams that they had to focus on AI. So along with all the other things that they're working on, but they really want to deliver some AI. And then my good friend Joey Friedman, who used to be in charge of the new product, the go-to-market for the new product, is now working on AI exclusively. So he's working on adding AI content. So I think there's going to be a lot more AI to come. And you'll see in a little bit what our friends at Emirates are doing with AI on the procurement side.
Cool. I'm listening to a NetSuite user group meeting. And
We're listening to you.
you know more about this stuff than I do and need to get better knowledge. It's got lots of.
Sorry, Bob. Apparently we have lots of knowledge though. That's good. I'm happy. Okay. And then this one I really wish would work here. I'm not sure why they enable it for the UK and not Canada.
Yeah. No,
Do you know why they did that, Lisa?
no idea, because we're both VAT, HST. The problem is that UK is only one tax across the country, whereas we've got multiple different taxes, I suspect. But then sweet, and that's why they're saying sweet tax. Who knows?
Yeah. So I've generally heard decent things about this. AP automation for sure. So our controller is going to attend SweetWorld hopefully this year for the first time. And so I'm sure he'll be wanting to talk to AP automation partners. Outside of assets, it's probably the most heavily populated partner area. There's a gazillion AP automation bill capture tools out there. From what I've seen, they're all pretty decent. And I know we've had discussions before, but Mark's used one. Are you using one? You used Topology, right? And I think I've heard mostly good things about them. So there's lots of good options. And actually the benefit of SweetWorld is getting them all in one place and try and compare.
Just one question. Bill capture does not work in Canada.
No.
We're just going through our renewal and they've just tried to sell that to us.
You should double check. I can double check with somebody. Hold on a second.
Account managers in the United States.
Our company exists in Canada and only in Canada.
You know, but if the accounts manager is, yes.
No doubt it's coming soon.
I mean, so, yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me just check.
I'm not a big fan of our current NetSuite rep. We had a really good one and unfortunately she left.
Yeah, we had a good one. And then we got reassigned. Um, and we just went through a renewal with this new one. And we got a really good deal on our renewal, and then our account manager quit. And so
I wonder if we had the same account manager. We had the exact same thing happen to us last year.
Probably. Yeah, she was probably pissed off because they were trying to sell us like a 14% increase or something like that.
Yeah.
And I basically went over their heads and went to a friend of a friend, and we got it for 1%. So
We're not allowed to say names in this. I mean,
no, there's certain names I can't. There's certain names I can't say to protect the guilty or the innocent rather. So it's a really tough job being a NetSuite account manager. Their quotas, they have a quota based on not just renewing customers, but also upselling
Uplifting, yeah.
customers as well. And the commissions are a lot less than the new customer reps. So it's really tough. It's a tough gig, but some people make it work. So we're in the middle of being reassigned. Right now we have we have an Austin-based team. So we're trying to get reassigned to like at least a East Coast, maybe even a Canadian team. There are Canadian account managers. There's just not enough to have all of the Canadian customers with Canadian account managers.
We had a great Canadian
Who
team.
did you have?
Get her name. I'll find it.
So when I worked at NetSuite, I was in the office just along the road here.
Yeah.
And that was and so Aaron Mittler, who I worked with at the time, he now runs account management globally for NetSuite, and he's Canadian. He moved out west, so he now lives in Whistler. But so there's a lot of Canadian employees at NetSuite who are pretty high up the ladder. So so there you go. That was the top 10. Was there anything in 25.1 that people were dying for, or they've started to use that they like? No.
I was just gonna say, I haven't used the receipts, but the CSV item fulfillment is a nice to have.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It works well.
Okay, pricing in NetSuite, 10 o'clock. Are we going to take a break for 3 minutes? Okay, let's take a break for 3 minutes, and we'll start pricing after that. I have one, but you can't have it. If you go and ask at the front, if you go to the front, they can set you up. They need your email address. So it's by email address. So if you go and ask, they'll do it for you. There is a Crown Public or something that you can join.
No, it's not there.
Oh, but it was there this morning. I joined it. It said it was down for maintenance. So
When I came, it was there. So start my husband.
getting kicked off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, there was incident in Houston Airport, Terminal 1. The roads were closed.
yeah, there was on the radio that there was some major incident at the 409
Yeah,
and they had the road closed.
police officer shot some.
Oh, really?
An officer shot somebody? Oh.
Yeah, a police involved shooting.
Yeah, police involved shooting. Terminal 1, they said outside, but departures is closed and,
Wow.
you know, the TLC is diverted to Terminal 3. And only arrivals for traffic.
For anyone who's here, if you want to go to the washroom, you have to go out the door. And you need this card to get back in again. So that's why we have a card. That's why the card's here.
Denise Oz.
Yeah, you can get some.
Yeah. Our first account manager was awesome.
Yeah. She left us in
We
23.
still text.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she left us in 23 and then we've just been bounced from account manager to account manager every 6 to 8 months since then.
Hi, so when you come up you renew, we haven't renewed in like maybe 4 years or so, but do they increase price?
Yep,
Like by how much?
as much as they can get away with.
So you have to negotiate?
Yeah, negotiate.
Yeah, you gotta negotiate and it's a long laborious process every time.
Yeah. It depends. I mean, Darcy had a really good experience. Like she did a renewal and their first offer was like was a reduction in what they were paying.
Wow.
And sometimes no, sometimes though. But no, sometimes what happens is they realign pricing
Oh, okay.
and they do redo additions and stuff. And sometimes when they redo additions, they move things in and out.
Gotcha.
And so it could be that you
Could
had
be in your benefit.
you had this and this,
Yeah.
and now there's a new addition, and that includes this,
Yeah.
and so overall, and so it actually goes down. Our first offer was like 17 to 20% increase,
Yeah.
and I was like, so and we'd made the decision to, we added like 40 users, something like that, like 30 or 40 users we'd added since the start. We bought NSAW, Analytics Warehouse. And so I said to them, it's like, it feels like we're being punished for buying more NetSuite.
Mhm.
So if this is the path you're going to go down, I'll never buy anything from NetSuite again, except other than users, right?
Yeah.
And so then I got some people involved and ended up getting a really good deal.
Yeah.
But,
Our first offer, so we're going through renewal right now. Our first offer this time around was 18%.
yeah. I've heard that's like the average is like 7 to 10%.
Yeah.
So you should be able to go down to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
But Darcy got
we're
a
getting
sweetheart deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Just close it all off.
So part of it is as well, if you're at the end of a quarter
Yeah.
and they've already hit their quota, then you can, so sometimes renew early might not be a good thing. So end of May is their year end. And so at one point, when I had my first call with him, and I said, well, I'll just wait till May then. And the reps manager was on the call and he said something like well, we thought this was really good. This was a really good deal. And I was like, well, it's not up to you to decide what's a good deal. It's up to me to decide what's a good deal. And so, well, if this is all you got, we'll wait till May. And hung up. And then that was it. So you got to be okay. Pricing. So I'm channeling my inner solution consultant job here because we don't use NetSuite pricing. So I set it up the way that I remember doing it when I was doing demos. Pricing in NetSuite is like a lot of other things in NetSuite. If the way that pricing works works for you, then great. But there's a bunch of common issues with it. So we're going to walk through the really basic pricing setup. And then at the end, I have a couple of slides one is from a SuiteWorld deck. So if you go into Suite Answers and just look up pricing or search for anything in Suite Answers, on the left-hand side, it shows you all the results. There's usually one that says SuiteWorld presentations. Click on that. It'll give you a list of all the presentations relating to the topic that you search for. And then you can download a PDF version of the content. So I got a couple of slides from that. And then there's another slide or two that I have that are not from that, and I can't tell you where it came from. But it's basically complaints from customers about pricing. So that'll tell you where the gaps are, basically. Side note about even before NetSuite started on this new products, new platform path, a team in Waterloo started to work on a new pricing module for NetSuite. But then it was decided that it was meant to go into the current product, and then it was decided to push it to the new platform. So whenever the new platform appears in NetSuite, there should be a lot more functionality that comes with it. So we're going to look at. I'm going to have some slides, and I'm going to show you actually where you do this live in our sandbox. So we'll talk about some of the settings that you have to turn on. If you don't have admin, is everyone here an admin? Yeah. If you're not an admin, then you'll need to talk, and you want to test some of these things, then you'd have to talk to your admin into either setting up in Sandbox for you, or wait until the next upgrade and get like a release preview version, and then set it up in there. So because there's some of these things you won't see unless it's activated in your account. So there's some settings. We'll talk about how price levels work, and then some of the customization requests and complaints, which will tell you where the gaps are, basically. And then when are you up? Are you up afterwards? Because then so Paul's going to talk about CPQ, which is the NetSuite product configurator that I'm personally responsible for, by the way, being in NetSuite. Okay, so in enabling features, again, I'm going to show you this in a minute or two. Enabling features is the main place where you go to turn things on and off. And the things that you do here will have a big impact on how your NetSuite account looks. So multiple prices seems pretty obvious. So the biggest thing with pricing in NetSuite is it's really done at the item level. And so that doesn't work for some people. So basically the first one is just, can you have multiple price levels? Can you do quantity-based price breaks for an item? Gross profit actually works really well. I think we use it. I have a couple of reports set up. If you turn on gross profit on the transaction, on the sales order, and not the sales order line, it'll actually show you what it thinks the gross profit is going to be based on a cost. We can talk about what that cost is. And so I think it actually works pretty well. Promotion codes, I'm not going to enter into promotions. There's a whole, this is kind of like suite billing. There's been multiple attempts at adding promotions into NetSuite, suite promotions, advanced promotions. Basically, the idea with the promotion is you can create like a promo code, like a buy one get one free, and then have it automatically apply on a transaction. So I'm not going to talk about that because that's a whole other thing. We're just going to talk about pricing. And then, so here you go. So you got promotion codes, suite promotions, and then you got advanced promotions. So, so there's lots of options for promotions. And promotions was 100% targeted at retail customers. So, what NetSuite defines as retail. So I'm going to let me just show you this. Where's my? It's not this one here. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about where you set this stuff up, first of all. Okay, so company, enable features, under items, it's under items, it's under transactions. Oops. There you go. So multiple prices, quantity-based pricing, price breaks, gross profit. It does have, if you click on these, it does give you a little description of what it is as well. So this is when you turn on your promotion codes, etc. And then this is a Suite app that you would actually install through the Suite App Store. But that's basically you turn it on. So the first thing you do, let me just show you. Here's my item. It's here. Okay, let me show you the end result first. This is one of our items. This is a 10-foot long wall and ceiling board panel. So I set this up so that you have, I couldn't get this to work. This is pricing schedules, which is meant to set, which you set your quantity breaks across the top. So basically what you have here is, you can rename this, but I'll show you price levels in a minute. When you set up price levels, the only one that's there is what they call base price. You can set that to be whatever you want, but that one you can't change. That's like the list price or whatever. And then so what I did was I set up 3 alternative prices and an online price. So then you can associate with each one of these a discount off or a markup on top. And then if you go and change this to whatever, then it just updates. It updates automatically. So the first challenges you'll find with this is so this is the basic pricing setup on an item. Yep. Which is where this comes into play. So you can say, is it only on the line or is it overall item quantity? So line quantity would be it's only that line.
We don't have.
Overall item quantity would be however many TC1610s are on your entire order. So if you have 2 lines, right. So if you have two lines for 500 is going to be over here or above this one. If you do it by line, then each line could be a different price based on that. So there's different settings for how you apply the quantity discounts. And then you can also apply pricing groups. We'll talk about pricing groups a little bit later.
Modify that behavior at the customer level?
No.
It's just an item level.
You can set up.
Yeah.
You can set up items and you can say this customer buys in this price level.
Yeah, so you can assign, I don't think so. I think it's by item.
Then it will take the price with the discount instead of the base price.
So, and so for gross, as far as gross profit is concerned, this is one of the most underused features, item defined cost. So for gross profit, you can tell it what you want it to use as a basis for gross profit. I've always been a fan of using this item defined cost. So basically you can go in here and you can say whatever the cost is. And then if you're paying commission or whatever, then you're not penalizing the sales rep because you did a shitty job making your product that day. You can say this is the baseline for gross profit. And if you pay them based on that, then you can use item defined cost. Otherwise, you can use average costs. I would never use this. And then there's other options as well. So, but the most common ones would be undefined cost or average cost. And that's just applies to gross profit. The other, yeah, no, it's just a calculation. Yeah. So then if you are in a multi-currency environment, which probably all of us are, then the downside is you have to go and set your, well, downside, upside, you got to go and set your prices for each one. So biggest challenge, but NetSuite customers have is multiply your number of items by your number of price levels, by your number of customers, by your number of currencies, then you end up having to create like a monster spreadsheet to figure out what your pricing is and then do updates. And just like the CSV imports, there's no date time effective. There's no date effectivity for pricing. So you basically have to get up at midnight or whatever it is, or wait until like 11 o'clock, and then run a mass update on pricing, and you have no idea how long it's going to take to run. And it doesn't tell you if it fails. You just run it, you kick it off, and you wait for as long as it takes, which could be a long time. Now, I'm not sure where this, but I just noticed this, a price update log. So maybe I'm not sure where this came from, but it's empty, so.
You said it doesn't tell you when it fails?
The mass update might give you something, but I'm not I don't think the mass update does. I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry, I was getting.
CSV import, if you do it by CSV import, it would say this line failed. There's a dedicated mass update for pricing here. Update prices.
Can you have a live exchange rate for different currencies?
I don't think it does any conversion at all. I think it's up to you to set the pricing.
So you can put it on by the moment.
Right. Okay, so that's the end result of the pricing. Like everything else in NetSuite, annoyingly, it's the price levels are actually in an accounting list. So here's your price level. Base price, if you edit it, you can change the name to be whatever. But there's nothing else in there. All the other ones that you create, there's this markup discount field. And so you have to put net minus 10% if it's discount. You leave it positive if it's a markup.
Can the price be based on cost instead of a fixed development?
You can update it based on the cost, but yeah.
Yeah, we are a distribution company, our cost is very dynamic.
Right.
We can't just do mass upload every day. That's their cost. And the second question is, can we set up pricing based on a group of customers?
Yes, kind of. So these are the price levels. So there's also something called, so basically what you do is you go and assign a price level to a customer. So you can say, this customer gets this price level. But you can also create a pricing group. So I did distributors and retailers, and then you can put a customer into a pricing, into a pricing group.
But not on the item level. We can group
Right.
items based on these groups.
So on the, what you can, so on the, so here's your group. So this is where I was having some trouble. I'm not sure if it's something that I did or not. But on the item, I set up pricing schedules, and it's not there. And I also set up pricing group. There you go. So now you can say this item is part of, there's a default pricing group. So that's the basic setup for pricing. You can have as many pricing levels as I think there might be a theoretical limit for price levels. But the screen is going to go is if you had 1,000, I remember talking to a customer who had like hundreds of price levels, and loading the item screen to edit it was tricky. And then if you have 1,000 price levels, adding an item to a sales order is going to be slower as well, probably, because it's doing the lookup.
It's back to something you said.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't even have price lists. We have our pricing comes in. We sell full truckloads through distribution, and so we're trying to get our customers to a point where they have like a price level or a price list, or have a standard price that give a discount off it. But we're in the building materials industry, and so they're used to getting volume discounts and stuff. And so we do deal desks. We do special pricing. So all of our pricing comes from Salesforce. So, and we're actually just embarking on EDI as well. And we're basically having Sligo push our inbound orders into Salesforce as an opportunity. And then pushing it from Salesforce to Nets, because so we when we bring in the order into an opportunity, then our sales ops team check the order and the pricing to make sure it matches what was quoted, and then they approve it, and then it goes into NetSuite, and then there's a second approval by the finance team in NetSuite. So, but that process, the fact that we wanted to push the EDI order into a Salesforce opportunity, basically meant that the only option we had was to use Sligo or some other platform, because SPS, none of the EDI specific tools would want anything to do with Salesforce. So, and we also do this other order intake thing in Salesforce as well, that basically tracks changes in order value over time. So if a customer cancels a line, if they place an order in June and then they cancel a line in July, we book a negative in July. So, which, and NetSuite doesn't allow negatives on transactions. So. Hey, Darrell, can you send Ariel Emmerichs the link to the Teams meeting?
I don't think I have his email.
I do. Okay, hold on a second.
Oh, I think I found it. Just one sec. Yeah.
He just texted me and asked me. Okay. 10:24. Okay. So we could do more in pricing. Let me show you the slides that I had on the issues that people have with pricing. And that might prompt some more discussion. So here you go. So this is from the Suite World presentation. If you go and search on Suite Answers for pricing, you'll find this. Number one issue is the effective pricing, which should be nice. Pricing contracts. So there's purchasing contracts in NetSuite, but there's not pricing. There's not sales contracts. Segmentation, pricing calculations, so cost plus markup. Yeah. That's also one. Special pricing agreements. That's what we do those as the deal desks through Salesforce. Same sort of thing. And pricing and margin optimization. I don't even think there's that many NetSuite partners for pricing, to be honest. We had a meeting once with a company who was a Oracle partner, and they basically do pricing for airlines and stuff, right? And so we're on this call, and they asked for a meeting to talk about becoming a NetSuite partner. We kept on saying no, Eventually they insisted, so we met with them. And they're like, well, how many customers do you have who are over, we asked them what their typical, who their customers, airlines. He's like, well, how many customers do you have that are over like $10 billion in revenue? It was like 7 or something like that, or like 20, but not very many. And so that kind of killed that conversation pretty quickly. So these are the most common things. And this is kind of to show, and this became kind of the basis for the new pricing product, I think, to a degree. But this is basically how people wanting to be able to manage pricing using like a matrix with different rules. Okay, so this comes from this comes from somewhere that I can't tell you where it came from. But this became the basis for the team that we're working on the new pricing module. So along the same sort of lines, missing defined procedures or formulas, difficult to maintain because the prices are embedded in the item record. Everyone wants the pricing to be a separate list. Data effectivity again, tax, of course, missing flexibility in mass updates, no surprise. Discounting. How do you do it for partial shipments and partial returns potentially? And then some of the other things we talked about, rebates. There is a rebate module that's actually pretty good. My buddy John Beck at NetSuite it's now in its like 3rd iteration, I think. So there's a Suite rebates module. And so if you look up that in Suite Answers, you'll find some presentations on that too. It's actually pretty good. They've done a good job with that.
We found that it really slowed down our system. That was NetSuite's number one reason for latency in our system was rebates. So we killed it right off the bat, even though it was one of the reasons we went to NetSuite in the first place.
So all of these tools are built on the NetSuite platform. They're not built in core NetSuite. So it's like you built writing. They're using the same tools as you have to build things. So that's why it's the same. That's why there's performance issues, because it's running on top of the platform. It's not in core NetSuite.
So at this point, it's a big disappointment for us to go back to having to do rebates. But until we can solve the speed at our customer service desk, we can't go back and look at adding it back.
Volume. What volumes do you do? Orders, order lines, invoices. Yeah. So we have our team was concerned about volume, etc. When we started implementing NetSuite, and I was like, if you're really busy, we do like 8 truckloads a day, like at both plants. So we don't have that volume of orders. We have big products that go on trucks. It's not small products that go into.
So some of our orders are as low as $300-400, and some of our orders are, you know, 300,000-400,000
Right.
orders. So I mean, there's a big, depending the size of our customer.
So there you go. This is page 2 of key issues. Lack of analytics and insights. Pricing history is difficult to analyze. Difficult to calculate line level net prices and profitability. And then performance and scale. So there's a limit of 1,000 price levels. But start slowing down long before that. Again, just because the pricing is tied to the item, basically, is the biggest issue. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes. Okay.
We have 2 standard price lists in USD currency. One that services our American customers and one that services international customers. So 2 different base prices, but that they share the same price levels or discount matrix. How do you overcome a multiple, or sorry, so there's no relationship between the 2 base prices, but we can only have 1 base price per currency. Or 1 price list per currency.
Sick. Better bring up my item. So walk me through that again.
So if you could imagine your Canadian dollar price list, or example here where you've got $100 as your base price. We have another base price that's not quantity, that doesn't relate to quantity breaks, but it just starts at, say, $90. So they need to coexist, and then, you know, we would associate one price list with a set of customers and another price list with another set of customers.
So you're using the alternative price, and you can have not.
But the alternative price is not related to the discount, because the starting base price is different.
I don't think you can do it.
Yeah, but I created.
You don't need to set up a discount for the alternative price. You can have base price and alternative price.
But there's 2 starting base prices in the same currency. And that are then subsequently discounted in the same manner.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So what I tried to do is I created a currency, fig currency, USD international, but it created a lot of problems downstream on processing. Okay, so nobody has an easy button for me. Okay.
Sick. Hey, Darrell, did you see Ariel
I sent
join?
him the link and then I sent him a second link, so I've answered his emails, yeah.
Okay.
I just haven't seen him join. Yep.
Okay. Okay. See if that works. Any other questions? Will we wait?
Yeah, Evan, sorry, can you show us again where you define those different price lists, like the base price?
Accounting lists?
Yeah, for each, like the customer
level.
sales prices, price levels, like where does that defined again?
Setup, accounting lists.
Set up accounting list. Perfect. Thanks.
Everything's an accounting list. If you can't find it in NetSuite, look in accounting lists.
According to NetSuite's documentation, bill capture only works in US dollars.
And the pounds.
And now pounds, yeah.
Yeah, probably this the difficult part in Canada because we deal with US dollars and Canadian dollars.
Right, yeah.
It has to recognize Canadian US.
Yeah.
In the same entity, while in US, everything is in US dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why I can't, yeah. Okay, let's take a break for a minute. I'll see if I can get.
Gavin, he still hasn't joined. I sent him the direct meeting link with the meeting
Yeah, he
ID and
says-
passcode.
He says that he can't join with any of the links. Let me see if I can find the deck, and then I can just do it. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there he is finally. Yeah.
Woo! There he is.
Hey, Gavin, I managed.
Woo-hoo. Welcome.
But wait, I see too many things here. How's it going, guys?
It's going good. Okay, I'm not sure which screen this is.
Yeah, you could go to more.
This one?
I've made him a presenter so that he can present.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you present yet, Ariel?
Let's see. 1 second.
I made you a presenter. You should be able to share.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
The thing is that I can't see you, but that's as always with Microsoft Teams, I think.
Yeah, I'm in Zoom and I'm in Teams at the same time, so it's a little confusing.
No worries. Let me know when I can start. Whenever
You can start.
Cool. So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining in this conversation. We are very honored to sponsoring this event and seeing so many NetSuite customers together. My name is Ariel Polones. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Emerix, and we are a company that actually built an AI assistant for direct procurement that is focused on improving your margins. So we are focusing on NetSuite clients that are running their supply chain through NetSuite, and we're basically helping them to run this process much more efficiently. But let's talk beforehand, like why isn't it efficiently? Because today's process basically look like this. It's a mess. Okay, so you're working with your NetSuite and you're working with your email and you're working with your Teams and Excels and more Excels and more Excels. It's basically as a combination, a tech stack of legacy, siloed, and unstructured systems. Basically, they're draining completely your efficiency. And specifically for companies running on NetSuite, it's really, really hard to actually automate these processes. It's really, really hard to actually convince your supplier to actually to comply with a specific process. And this keeps a lot of manual works that create a lot of inefficiency. And when you have these inefficiencies are basically starting to eat into your margins. And for us, and in a second, I'll tell you more about myself, as supply chain executives, the margin is the most important thing. Okay, and it's happening for 4 different things. The first one is there is no time for strategic projects. Basically, this process, this day-to-day operation of running direct procurement is very time-consuming. You're constantly putting away fires, so the ability to actually have time to work in these deep negotiations that you want, to work on sourcing, to work on building relationship with the supplier, everything goes away, and you're not managing to move the P&L needed as you're supposed to do. The second part is lack of visibility. So I saw that you have a session today about sales searches and so on. So many NetSuite users are using sales searches, clunky reports, and siloed data are making really a hard time to make decisions. Okay, to make a real-time decision nearly impossible, or to just to know what's going on in your supply chain. The third part is basically scale around people. Okay, as the company grows, people want to really enjoy out of the economics of scales, but eventually they find out that they're growing, their team is going linearly, and that the team goes linearly, the cost of the team goes linearly with that, and also the overhead of running a team, so you're not enjoying these economics of scale. And the last part is lack of control. Okay, it's really hard to actually find this hidden cost of supply chain, given the fact that it's a lot of data, there are not too many controls, and it's really hard to do that. All these things, what we see, it's basically hidden opportunities of at least $250,000 per company that our solution can actually uncover. Just checking that you can hear me because I can't see you at all. Sorry?
Yeah.
Cool. So our solution is Emmy, okay? And you need to think about Emmy like a new AI team member to your team, okay? And Emmy can help in 3 different areas. The first one is to answer any procurement question that you have, okay? Over Teams or Slack, like any other team member that you have. The second part is to flag critical issues, okay? Check if you have overbills, check if you have a spike in price, check if you have negative inventory, things that are really affecting your numbers. The third part is she really helps you to stay on top of the PO process, a very manual, tedious, repetitive process. She's really helping there as well. Another very important thing about Emmy and the fact that she's like a team member, she's up and running in 48 hours. Okay, it's seamless integration. It's a couple of clicks on to connect to the email of the procurement team, so Emmy can assist you in sending and answering emails and seeing also the events that are going on through the email. It's really easy to connect to NetSuite. Basically, we'll build a bundle and our last customer connected, self-onboarding himself in 15 minutes, as simple as that. And we connect to your organizational chat, either if it's Slack or Teams. And once Emmy is connected with all these data sources, she can start giving you insights and helping you to monitor your process, okay? It's a 48 hours process.
So she doesn't create POs, she comes in once a PO is created. So you can ask her questions about PO, about inventory, about and billing and that sort of thing as well. But she doesn't. So it's not to create the POs, but it works with information once the PO is created.
Correct. It's Emmy starts her action when the PO is generated. Okay, and for your teams, basically the onboarding process is basically 3 hours. The 48 hours here is basically the time that it takes to Emmy to actually learn your data and to actually learn your processes. So she can actually start giving you value very fast, much faster than any other employee that you onboard. Emmy is already deployed with great brands around the world. So we have, and the important thing about this brand is that they are industry agnostic. Okay, any company that is on NetSuite, you can actually in 48 hours start joining Emmy. So we have Earth Animal, a CPG company. We have Bombas, a direct-to-consumer company, apparel out of New York. We have Trustcore with Gavin here that he can tell you by himself much more about Emmy later on. Building materials. So we have Mixels, which is a home design product company. We have EasyPlant, that it's a plans company. We have Percepto, which is a company that is actually building drones. So as you can see, all these companies, different industries, same problems, and same value that they're getting from Emmy every day today. We are a company backed by Lightspeed, one of the top 5 VCs in the world. So we're very well funded and here to stay for a long time. So let's see what Emmy can do. Okay, let's see some examples. I won't show everything. If you want to see Emmy in action, you're more than happy to go into our website, emerix.ai, and set in a very simple way a demo, and I'll be happy to show you everything personally. But here we'll see some examples. So the first thing that I mentioned is answering any procurement question. As Gavin mentioned, Emmy today can answer any question related to procurement, inventory, and vendor bill. Okay, we're currently also expanding Emmy and in a couple of weeks to sales orders, transactions. So basically, we'll be able to ask any question that has to do with direct procurement. And the way that she does it is in real time to allow you smarter decisions 24/7. And it happens either on Teams or Slack. And you're speaking with Emmy as any other team member that you have. And I want to show you a live example here. Okay, so you can see here that I'm on Slack. It doesn't matter Slack or Teams. 1 second, there is a lag in the internet, so we'll see it in a second. There you go. So you call Emmy and you ask a question. For example, this question is, show me top 10 vendors based on spend. You ask her, she's thinking for a few seconds, and then she goes in and she gives you the answer. Okay, so you can see here that here are the top 10 vendors based on total spend. So you have here the vendors and the total spend, and then you can ask her a follow-up question or to do something. For example, I ask her to export this information to a file. So then she goes, she's thinking, and she's giving you a CSV with all the information that you have. You can go over and ask her to draft you an email to send this information to finance, okay? And she goes, she drafts for you an email that you can actually copy paste to your email and send it to your finance team, okay? So this is a very short example, and there are many other use cases that we can do. And we see that our customers are asking amazing questions. And the important thing to see about this slide is that it's not just the procurement team. It's not just the supply chain team. It's crossing to the C-level. It's crossing to finance. It's crossing to logistics, to analysts. Everyone is asking questions, and we see that expanding very, very fast in the company. For example, in Gavin's company, so we started with procurement, and then we expanded to planning. And now we have ideas to expand to even the plant managers and more. These things is expanding organically because the people see the value of having the data and making decisions based on data. So we can see here a question of a CEO asking about COGS and goods of sold coming from the US, okay, given the tariffs. We see a supply chain analyst asking a super cool question. For example, I have box 1, box 2, and box 3. How much will it cost me if I want to create a box number 4? So she's taking the historic data of the boxes. You understand the rules, and she gives you an estimation. A logistics specialist asking about pickup dates for specific dates, and more and more and more. Another example of how Emmy is helping you to keep your margins is basically that she's catching issues before they hit the bottom line, okay? So she's basically guarding your margins. So this is a new feature that we released a couple of weeks ago, and we're already seeing amazing results with our customers. So for the first one, we see that there was a line item overbill with almost $7,000 that nobody spotted, so we saved this company $7,000. Another company, they did by mistake, a copy-paste mistake that can happen to everyone, that basically they wrote a double price on a specific item, and this one was like 92% increase, and it was a total of $41,000. Okay, we also discovered quite a lot of negative inventory. Some companies, they have it, and it's really affecting the ability to actually close the month when it comes to closing the books. So what you see here is that the way that it works, basically Emmy is monitoring on a certain cadence the data, and she's sending you a personal message to the person who created the PO saying that there is an issue here. So what we've seen, that we've sent these messages quite a lot, that it's less than 15 minutes that the people are actually taking action on that. So it's basically an actionable visibility to actually save your margins. And this is only just the tip of the iceberg of what Emmy can do, and she's constantly learning. So we want to start also flagging low inventory issues and updating data out of your emails into the ERP, into NetSuite, to actually keeping NetSuite updated, and doing other tasks such that you can already do, like sending PO, closing POs, and so on, to basically allow you to do 3 things. One is to being able to extract the data in natural language. It doesn't matter if you're in NetSuite, outside of NetSuite. If you're in the office outside, you can do it in your phone through Slack or Team. All your data is accessible. The second thing, she's monitoring that you're not doing mistakes. Super important, very costly. And the third part is that we're keeping NetSuite updated and accurately based on the data that you're getting from your suppliers as well. And eventually, this leads to an opportunity of gains of $250,000 annually in 4 different areas. The first one is strategic focus. Okay, you have more time to deal with the strategic processes that, in my experience, were 100K and above. You have real-time data to make smarter decisions. Imagine that every team member in your company at any given time can ask a simple question and getting the data that he needs to make any decision. Think about the impact of that on your organization. So Emmy is allowing that. The third example is scaling without hiring. So basically, Emmy is like a junior procurement analyst. That's 100K a year, okay, that you actually saving with Emmy. And the last part is preventing costly mistakes. And our customers are already reporting approximately 25K savings or catchings every quarter. And here is something about us, but also something generic about AI and AI agents and AI assistants. To make them work, you need to have a domain knowledge on supply chain. And this is what I bring with my 20 years of experience in supply chain, being in charge of delivering 20 million products every year in a direct-to-consumer company. So I have very intimate knowledge as an operator and an executive. You need to have a very strong AI and automation knowledge of how to bring engineering and AI together. And this is the knowledge that my co-founder and our CTO brings from his years of experience as a group AI manager at Samsung, and the knowledge of NetSuite. I was in charge of integrating NetSuite and the champion of NetSuite in my previous organization. And in the last year, since we were building this product, we became almost experts as Gavin in NetSuite. We still have a few years, but we are very strong with NetSuite. So this combination of these 3 domain knowledge is critical to make AI actually bring value and keep your margins. And this is why it's positioned as Emerix as the best AI partner for supply chain on NetSuite. And to make it even stronger, we built an amazing team of advisory boards. So we have Joseph Thompson, that was the Chief Procurement Officer at Avon, Mars, and Bloomberg. We have Kobe Vital, that was the EVP of Technology Platforms at Walmart. And we have Roman Bukhari, that was the GM for Manufacturing and Wholesale at NetSuite.
He's not that impressive overall.
Yeah, debatable. And but they're really helping us again to build a credible product, to build a product that brings value and eventually improves your margin. That's it. That's the short version of this presentation. Again, I'll be first of all happy to answer any question that you have, and also more than happy to set the personal demos to show you what Emmy can do for your organization.
I have 2 questions, Ariel. The first one is on one of your slides, you said that Emmy could create POs on the constantly learning, constantly evolving slide.
Yes.
Is that a future state? Because I think Gavin said right off the bat that wasn't something that it currently does.
Yeah, we're working on that as we speak right now. And hopefully in the next few weeks, we're going to have an initial version of that.
Awesome. And then can you tell me about your cost model? So what is the cost of this, and how does that scale?
Great. So the way that it works, basically, it's a very simple pricing model, okay? So basically, you're going to be paying a salary to Emmy, okay? An annual salary to Emmy. No licenses, fees, no seats, not consumption bill, no modules, just a single number, and no hidden cost, very straightforward, okay? And I'll be happy privately to discuss on the specific prices, but I can say that it's a quarter of the price of an employee that you have in the company, okay? What we usually do, it's a really low risk, high return deal, which basically it's a 48 hours integration. So from your side, the effort of actually integrating Emmy is very, very low. We're taking a lot of the heavy lifting there, or we took already when we built the architecture of this product. The second part is that you're getting 60 days money back guarantee. We're so certain on the value of Emmy, and we see Emmy doing so much for our customers, that we're willing to actually give you an exit point after 60 days. More than that, we're not charging anything from you on the first 60 days. The invoice is going to be also only issued on day 60. When you tell me that, I'm happy with Emmy. And then you have the quotas of an employee that basically creates a 10x ROI on a conservative scenario.
We have when a new team member joins TrustCore, we send an email saying, "Hey, welcome," whatever. And so there's like your favorite food and your favorite movie. So I actually sent I sent an email around welcoming Amy to the company, and her favorite movie was, I forget what the movie was, and her favorite food was Bits and Bites or something like that. So, and she's on my org chart when I do my department presentations. Yeah, yeah. My favorite Amy story is when we first started chatting with her, and I asked her for we buy custom skids to put our product on. So I asked her how many skids we had on order, and she didn't know what a skid was. And so I was like, okay, skids are items that begin with SK, and she went away and thought it's great. We got 512 skids in order. Do you want a breakdown? She sends you a breakdown, and you can say how many in order are in Palmerston versus Calgary and stuff. And now she learns. And then I was like, so I thought, well, did she actually learn that? So then I asked her, give me a list of items that are skids, and she listed all the items that were skids. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
I'll show you. I can't share the chat part, unfortunately, but I can show you guys afterwards. But I'll show you the other part that we use. There's a dashboard that we use as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
I show because I had only 10 minutes, so I show only.
There's a question here. Yes.
Any other questions?
How big is your typical customer? Revenue or target customer?
So we are working with companies between $50 million to $100 million in revenue. Sorry, $1 billion in revenue, 50 to $1 billion in revenue, between 50 employees to 1,000 employees. But I must say that it really depends on the complexity of the procurement. We've seen companies that around 100 million that had a much complex procurement process than companies at $500 million. But
we're at the bottom end of that scale, and so we have 2 plants. We have about over 200 employees. We have 1 buyer, and so she spends a lot of her time answering, "Where's my purchase order?" or "What's the lead time for this?" or you can ask her purchase price history on something. And so this is becoming like a valuable asset. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
No. It's like the PO function.
Gavin, I can't hear the question.
Yeah,
so
the question was, is it they have multiple people placing purchase orders. So does Amy see all purchase orders? She connects to NetSuite. She sees any PO. So,
yes, any PO and all the history of the POs.
It's not types of subsidiary or anything. We have like 8 subsidiaries. So it's not tied. It's just tied to the purchase order transaction basically. Okay. Thanks, man.
Thank you
Thanks
very much.
Joining.
You're welcome to visit our website, emerix.ai.
Okay, yeah, I'll get it for you. Can you send me the deck so I can send it around?
Sure, no problem.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Ariel is in Israel. So, okay, where's the agenda? It seems that we're behind. Break, saved searches, customer spotlight. Okay. Take a break for 10 minutes. 5 minutes? 5 minutes. Okay. 5-minute break. And then me again. Did you send you sent your deck, right? Yesterday?
Yes, I did, but it's better to share my screen.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Have you found any issues with hallucinations with Emmy?
What do you mean?
So one of the biggest problems with AI today is that AI makes up answers.
No.
Okay.
No. So this is so this is the other part. I can't show so we have Emmy and Teams. Apparently I can't get to the part where we chat
Because you're in a
I'm in a meeting. But this is the dashboard that that she gets that we
Okay.
use. So, and so the idea is, first of all, you can say, focus on suggestions, and it'll just show you what she's telling you, what she's telling you to do. And then it does things like it shows, so Kelsey, our buyer, likes this because she doesn't see the POs until they've been approved.
Mhm.
And so she doesn't know that one's coming that's pending approval.
Gotcha.
So this gives her better visibility. Once it's approved, you can actually say, send POs, and she'll actually create an email and send the PO to the vendor. If you, yeah. And then you can go with any of these, you can go and click and you can see there's the detail. You're not in NetSuite, but there's the detail of the PO. There's any files that went with this. There's the PO. There's activity. So she actually monitors Kelsey's or buyer's email address. And so if an email comes in saying, "Hey, this PO has been sent," then she automatically puts it into like and she'll say it's on its way and have the tracking number and stuff automatically. So it's a combination of these emails, diligently try to train them and determine what to do with it. We have a lot of POs that end up being open when they should be closed because we buy bulk resin.
Right.
And we order £50,000 and we get 48,412.
Yeah.
Right. Balance sits there.
Yeah.
So we're just working on something now where if it gets to X percentage, she'll just automatically close it, or she'll recommend close it, and you hit a button and it goes and closes it. Right. Right. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I can show you after. I just can't show you here because I'm sharing. But yeah, you just go into Teams. You can do it. Yeah. So yeah. Maybe I don't have her on here. I can show you after. Let's go. Oh, here she is. Yeah, here, look. So you can just search the person in Teams. Answer a question. So
Oh, so the chat is actually, the question goes to Teams too. But she might send you a message that you didn't actually ask her about it. She.
no, this is you ask her a question, she replies.
So in the case of the purchase order where there was a note there that said something like.
Yeah, I'm not using that UI. I'm not using that UI yet. I'm not sure what the interaction is.
Okay, so you guys are using the tool as questions as opposed to that response.
She uses it, so our buyer uses the dashboard. I don't use that, just so you can see it. But you can just go and ask questions.
Okay. It's a little research.
Yeah.
I like the idea of telling people that POs right of seeing.
Yeah, like here's like, Amy's gets to have in stock comparison. And she lists them all with the corporate one. Just it's very natural. Okay.
So Gavin, we have central purchasing and we also have special order drop ship.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of any, so each person who places order will have access to that dashboard and see if they are on PO.
You could have, yeah. Yeah. I can't believe I'm still talking. This is ridiculous. This is,
You've been doing a lot.
this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. What are we doing? We're doing Emirates break, saved searches, and then ensue. So I'm hoping this doesn't go 25 minutes and then you can go. So the idea was to cover my favorite topic, saved searches. I'm going to show you a couple of different examples that I have. Using color highlighting, progress bars, and concatenation, which is using HTML. I can show you that as well. And let me just bring up another one here. Today's with schedules with allocations. Okay. So we use searches extensively, of course, as everyone does. If you just Google how you put a progress bar in a saved search in NetSuite, that'll give you the code to do it. I have two examples here. This one's a little bit more complex. And so this is in process work orders. I'm in Sandbox, this is not real time. But if it was, it would update. And so with this one, you can have, I have the green as being the percent complete. I have the red being to be completed. I think it's red. I'm colorblind. And so it'll move across, and then you can have it do different things based on different results, and have it change colors as well. So I liked this one because it shows you can actually embed within the progress bar the quantity that's being built so far versus to be built, which is kind of cool. And all you're really doing is again, you can get this from anywhere online pretty much, and it's pretty simple. This code is a little bit more complicated because of the different colors, but basically it is, yeah, that's a little complicated. So basically it's like HTML formula, and then you just replace. You can basically take this as is, and then just do a search and replace on the values that you want, and pretty easily come up with a percent complete progress bar. So I can send a copy of this out as well if anyone's interested. So this one's kind of cool. This one is, I'm actually really proud of this one because so this one is on a work order. And so the challenge, the challenge that we had was, I'll see if I can show you in a second. Every time our planner created a work order, it would lose focus. So you're up here. I'll try and create one in a second, see if I can show you. Every time you changed something that impacted the bill of materials, it would scroll down to the bottom of the page because it's just updating the component sublist. And it was driving him nuts. And he'd end up making mistakes because his cursor would be in the wrong place and he'd enter the wrong quantity or whatever. And so I came up with this way, which is actually kind of cool, where we replaced the component sublist where you can change the items, and we put it over here, and we put basically a saved search as a sublist on the work order. And so I put a percent complete progress bar in the saved search. And so does everyone know how to do a sublist? in NetSuite? Okay. So basically, this is a pretty simple and safe search with a different style of progress bar, much simpler progress bar. This is the one if you search in Suite Answers, I think this is the code from Suite Answers that tells you to do this one. The other one was something that I found. But it's quite effective because you see if I can create a new one here. And see if I can change the form and show you what it was doing. Okay, so my form is called no scroll. If you just say, okay, let's go to the standard work order form. And so then you say, first thing it does, scrolls you down to the bottom of the page. You back up, change TCC, and then you pick the item that you want to make. Scrolls you down to the bottom of the page. So then you have to go and say, oh, now it's for this location. Which again scrolls down to the bottom of the page. And then it defaults that, and then you can choose the line or whatever. And so finally you do it. So conversely, if you change this to the no scroll form, where it doesn't show you anything because it's not there's no items there yet, but the edit items are on the second tab. So now I can go in here and say TCC 1610. Oops. Pick the location, pick the line, without any scrolling down. Ta-da! There you
And
go.
that's,
Yeah. You move the sub list, the edit items list. So you could do this in the sales order. I've come up with a purchase order, a version of the purchase order screen for non buyers, and it has the progress bar showing them the percent received on the main page. So which is kind of cool idea. So that's basically the progress bars. They're pretty simple. The other thing that Mark wanted to do was not this one. Let's see, not this one, not this one. Okay. This is I'm gonna log into production to show you something else in a minute. But this is basically we have a production system, and so every 5 minutes it goes and gets the current what work order is running on each line. The product, there's actually another version of this that shows an image of the product as well. But the thing that's cool about this one is using HTML to break the lines into two rows. So if you didn't do this, you'd have there's a default number of columns. I think it's 7 columns before it starts to scroll off the page. And so this lets us limit the number of columns so it all stays on the one page. And so now I can say ordered/made and have them above each other. And then we're actually tracking we're actually getting the line speed from our extrusion lines. And so this is the actual speed in meters per minute versus the standard speed. And it shows you then what percentage are of the current speed. Again, I'll send the examples out, but you're basically just doing a HTML formula, and I end up getting some help from the guy who does our website stuff and creating the HTML. There's an excellent, if you go and search in Suite Answers for HTML formulas, I think it is, there's a SweetWorld presentation that I can also share from 2 years ago when they first launched this, that has 1,000 examples in it of creating using HTML on your dashboards as well as in safe searches. Okay, so I'm going to go and switch into our real account here. because I have some good color highlighting ones that I want to show you. I show people how to do this at TrustCore every day. Okay. So first one. So we've integrated to a scale. So in Calgary we have a scale. So we build a scaled product, and a scale is 150 pieces on it. So it's pretty big. We take it to the scale. We weigh the scale, and so we have an estimated weight because we know roughly how much PVC goes into it. But the skill of the operator can have a big impact on the actual weight of the product. So the guys who are really good at it can actually run it a lot lighter and end up with the same quality product. It's a lot easier to run heavy, and so there's basically a target. And so basically this is showing you anything that's red is either over or I think it's over. Yellow is, we had yellow, there we go. Yellow is between 0 and 3% underweight. So the target, we want to be within at the target or within 3% under. And so if it's below more than 3% under or overweight, it's in red. If it's within 3% under, then it's in yellow. So this one's a little more complex, but basically for color highlighting, all you're doing is I'll show you a more simple example in a second.
Is yours just slow when you're lights too?
It's a little slower here because of the Wi-Fi. So basically all you're doing is under highlighting. I like to use red and then make the text white if it's in a red background. And so basically all you're doing is you're saying I have a formula here that calculates the percentage and says if it's greater than, do that. If it's between 0.02 and 0 under, then it's within 2% it's yellow. And then the key thing here is the little description, because what that does is at the bottom of the list, you get in the same format, it shows you what it means. So there's your 2% raise, there's your, and so that's at the bottom. So I did one just yesterday. We have someone who ships our sample products, and we just changed the processes a little bit. And so I have one here. There you go. Sample order lines pending shipment. And so what this does is a couple of different things. One is it shows you we have some items that are non-inventory items. We just because like brochures and things like that. We have others that are actual products. So we take our wall and ceiling board, we cut it into 6-inch pieces, and we can send you a sample. So she needs to know if it's a non-inventory item, so she can just ship it. And so I built a status message. And so here is yellow means that check supply, which means that we don't have any, so it's not committed, but there's an in-process work order. This is using supply allocation. And so it's linked to the supplying work order to it. So she can see, so it's saying you don't have any, but there's a work order that's enough to satisfy it. Just go and check the status of the work order. Versus this one, there's not enough. So she needs 7. We haven't shipped any. We're non-committed and we're not made any yet. So in this case, it's just a little exclamation mark. And so she has to go and tell someone to go and make more. And so the status message, I've done this a few times, just building the status message. So same thing. The result is just a text formula, and I'm just evaluating different things in the line, creating a custom message for her. And then with the highlighting, it's the same thing. So there's a formula, and so basically I'm saying I'm checking my supply message and saying if it's not enough supply, put an exclamation mark. If it's check supply, make the background yellow, and that's the description of what it means. Questions? That's why you're here. ChatGPT is really good. Yeah. Yeah, I found a few times with ChatGPT, it's told me to do some things that don't work. No, like you can tell it to ask it create a NetSuite saved search to do something. And I've asked it something before that I knew I thought wasn't possible, but I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try. And so I asked ChatGPT, and it then told me to do something that you couldn't do. And so it took a few going back and say, well, you can't do that because of this. And eventually, after a couple of attempts, it said, you can't do it. You have to do it somewhere else. But that's the idea of the user group. And when we do the lunch sessions as well, if you need help with the saved search or whatever. Sure. Sweet World is a great resource for that as well. You'll see there's always saved search sessions on the Sweet World. Yeah.
During implementation, we got some support from our supplier, our software supplier, that we kind of like teach ourselves.
Well, that's the thing, that's where we're at, is at that teach yourself phase, and some days I just like. Just love someone who's gonna come and tell me what to do.
Oh, hold on, did I share the wrong one? Paul?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
all right, can you hear me well? Everywhere? I know in the room, I can talk, but,
Can you hear Paul throughout?
Yeah, I can hear Paul. Yeah.
all right, perfect.
No, he's muted again right now.
All right. You can see everything. All right, perfect.
Thank you.
So,
No, I unmuted. We're good.
yeah. No, I'm talking with my
Oh, okay.
mic. Can you hear me, everyone? Yes,
I can hear you.
okay. The mic is muted, okay, so. Good. All right, so I'm good. All right, so I'm the CFO of Stealth Computer. We first will do some quick overview, and then things that we were trying to resolve, and review different options in development, how we did everything. Let's see. So we manufacture rugged computers, displays, and peripheral devices. We're a Canadian company. Founded Spartan of Canada Limited is the company legal name. Founded 1930, 2015, Spartan of Canada Limited acquired Stealth Computer, which was founded in 1990. So quick history there. And since we went through different ownership and different acquisitions, public company, then private company, then public company again, and now we are private Canadian company since 2021. And what we do, this is the products that we have. So the products are these are the core product images. We have little PC computers on the left side, different versions, and we have the in the middle displays, and we have the rack PCs there. And on the right, we have rack drawers, peripherals, and specialty computers, which are like portable computers. Portable computer is not a laptop, it's a big computer with a display and keyboard, and you can do a lot of things with those things. And waterproof PC in the bottom right corner. So you cannot see my pointer there. There you go, the laser pointer.
Yeah, we can see fine.
All right, so let's talk about the issues. We were trying to resolve multiple things. We had NetSuite ERP. We were using ExpertLogic CPQ integrated with NetSuite, and we are using the e-com website running on WordPress and WooCommerce. And to be able to get the orders from the WooCommerce to NetSuite, we were using NetSync plugin, which was giving us a one-way link between WooCommerce and NetSuite. So this was a challenge because then the website was outdated. So we redesigned a little bit, lifted up in 2018, but still was looking very old. And then we have two different CPQ engines. So we were using ExpertLogic CPQ in NetSuite for the sales team to build configurations. And we had to build WooCommerce e-com configuration engine. So technically, we had to update both at the same time. When we update the prices in NetSuite, we have to go and update the prices in WooCommerce. And this was not a very easy process. And we were dealing in the same time with 4 different teams to maintain the content integrity and making sure everything works. And updating prices was a nightmare. So simple thing, if you want to change the price for memory, for computer memory, you have to go through all computers that are using this memory and update it to WooCommerce manually, one by one by one. I got better in this, but it was creating a lot of delays and of course errors. So what we did, we had 2 options. First option is to update the website with a new technology, redesign the ExpertLogic CPQ to look differently, and connect to WooCommerce to basically to use the same ExpertLogic CPQ in WooCommerce somehow, and update the NetSync to handle the improvements in both website and ExpertLogics, and also to give the customer some additional information about their accounts, because we didn't have this available. So it's the part of the two-way communication that needed between NetSuite and e-commerce. And because the pros for this is familiar environment, we already running in that. Short time for implementation. So we thought inherited inefficiencies are the cons, and the 4 partners to deal with. And when you have 4 partners working in one solution, they blame each other for something doesn't work. So that's why I'm saying diluted responsibility. Unknown integration issues, because nobody did that before. So we have no idea what future will uncover. And high internal maintenance. This was the perceived raise the so it's a great plot. But again, so we had poor implementation to start with, and didn't want to go through the same thing to redesign it. NetSuite CPQ, so NetSuite purchased CPQ like it was external company, from what I understand. And the other thing is replacing the WooCommerce with NetSuite SuiteCommerce. And then this way we can remove the innate sync connector, because the SuiteCommerce is connected with NetSuite naturally. So the pros are only one partner now to deal with, NetSuite, single point of support, and the cons are new products designed from scratch, risk for support, and if no solution found, and unknown integration timeline. So, but we chose option 2. And we end up doing marketing website on WordPress, where we could go wild. We can design it the way we like, and we can put a lot of content that will market the sites. And we build the SuiteCommerce just for the shop, just the e-commerce. And then NetSuite CPQ was running both for the sales team, and the same platform was running on the SuiteCommerce, like user design for configurations. So we did the building customization. It's only for the little PCs, rack mount computers. The other things like displays, keyboards, and pointing devices, and flat tracks, we call them, which are the display and monitor, and the display and the keyboard and KVM, which are going into rack and on the servers to control those environment. So those are only to help the internal sales team to choose the right solution. So this helped the sales team to offer the right solution faster, navigate the sales team to accessories related to selected products, and connect the CPQ to SuiteCommerce to use it as the same configuration. Built directly, which before it was like a list of components needed to go and make the configuration in NetSuite instead of getting it directly from the website. This minimized the back office. All right, so let me switch quickly to show you the part of the solutions that we have. Okay, so this is the standalone configurator in the CPQ. We have this 5 different products displays, the racks, rack computers, the little PC rack mount, KVM displays, and the peripheral devices. And when you select any of this, you're getting this kind of interface. This is in-house, this is the NetSuite UI. So when you choose anything, you can build a configuration. It is blank slate, so you have to develop it from scratch. So there are some limitations, but the way you present it. Okay, let me reload this because maybe. Right. Let's open it from here. All right. So this is the configuration that actually you can customize with whatever you need for the thing, and then the salesperson can search for inventory. So you can. This is the live environment, so it will show the inventory and what is on order. So we need this SSD. It's required 1, available 3, and expected 20 more to arrive. So technically, the salesperson can judge for the promise delivery date to the customer at that point. So this helps a lot with the implementation. Yes, so this was CPQ team developed it, but everything is running in scripts in that. So technically, it's we could done it ourselves if we knew how. It's available for us, but in this situation, it was the NetSuite CPQ team who developed it. And then when you have this is the configuration of the product. To get to the thing, so the whole thing works with questions and answers. So you can see models. You define in the CPQ, define the models and answers. So these are the answers for the question model. And in this situation here, I chose the model LPC 845. Oops. LPC 845 is right here. And when you choose the model, technically you have another things that you can do, actions. In the actions, you can do like, and again, this is our implementation. So if you're doing this for your company, it can look completely different. The same questions and answers, but you define them the way you like. So you can set up all the questions and answers. If in this case, if the model, the rules, and if the model is selected, then all these questions will have these answers. So this is my base configuration that will give the user the ability to start from something, not like, okay, you choose this model, now what do you want to have in it? And so that's the thing that goes in that. So hiding rule for the questions and answers. The hiding rule is to decide which questions to appear where based on selection and stuff like that. So I don't want to get too much into details, but then you map the questions with questions and answers with the materials to build a bill of material, or you can have items. So when you select different things in this situation here, when I'm building the computer, I want to add the in-rail bracket. The in-rail bracket is not part of the configuration, and it's breakout item. So this will go like an item in the sales order. So if I call this from the sales order, from the transaction, it will give me the configuration that is built here with this bill of material, and this will be on a separate line. And I can add 1 year warranty or 2 years warranty on the like a breakout item. All right, so when I change that, this will increase the number of things. But if I add VJ adapter, I may choose to have only one, not for the 2 computers, or I can choose 5. So these are all options that you can customize in CPQ. So you can control many aspects of it. And when you go to the website, it is the same thing. So I chose 845, so it's not standard, it's white temperature. So if I go to the running with the time, 8:45, when I go here, here's my computer with all information. So yeah, right, okay. We can go to the configuration, and the user sees the same thing. So from here, this is e-commerce. The same thing that our salesperson has, the user online can have the same options in the configuration. This was the main feature which we were sold to have the combination between SuiteCommerce and the CPQ. I mean, what price? Well, if you don't define online price, what do you mean? Yes. Yeah. The hosting cost. So this is the SuiteCommerce is hosted by NetSuite. Yes. So we're getting everything set up within NetSuite. Yeah. We're using SuiteCommerce standard. So with SuiteCommerce standard, you have the benefit to use the templates which are already created. Wait. We're using right now Braintree. It's Moneris. We were using Moneris. Yes. But yeah, Moneris was okay, right? But the thing is, Moneris didn't have link directly to NetSuite. Mhm. Yeah, the Braintree is now it's owned by PayPal. So it's PayPal Braintree and has integration with NetSuite. And technically, they're using Moneris as an engine to process the credit cards in Canada. So you can set up Canadian doors and US doors. And with, yes. Yes, they have this option, but we didn't. Well, it is, but you have to. It's upgrade, I think. It's extra cost. But you need somebody to process the payments, so you cannot. Mhm. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. 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 No, it's not. Well, we try with Moneris, but yes. All right. All right. So let's continue with that. So yeah. So the challenges for CPQ that we were facing. First of all, NetSuite provided us with the estimated short time for going live. So they were trying to sell it. So the salespeople were saying, yeah, sure, for 3 months you can be up and running. We worked 2 years on that. So CPQ is blank slate, so you need to significant customization for that. And our team, stealth team, didn't understand the CPQ features and how the implementation will work. So then the team needed to understand the variations in rules and settings in CPQ to be able to create the best solution. And NetSuite team needed to understand the business case. This took a while, longer than expected. So they're perfect in their tool, they know everything about it, but it's hard to give them the business case scenario and to understand how how this need to be implemented. The challenge. The short time was 90 days. 90. 3 months. 2 years. Well, that was the thing. So, and we think that our solution was simple, and they kept saying us that it's complicated. But we had, I don't want to get into details what happened, but in the meantime, there was changes in the team in CPQ. So there was some knowledge transfer didn't happen. So the first developer did it one way, the next one I have that knowledge and stuff like that. So we communicated everything to NetSuite, and they promised that they will make it better. Yes. Yeah. We are doing this all the time. We're facing challenges with NetSuite support because now they're saying, well, that's custom solution, so we cannot touch it. So that's why we went to ACS, Advanced Customer Support now. Yeah. So they can get resources for us to maintain it. Yeah, you need to learn how to ask. Yep. You need to, you don't think about ACS will solve your problems. Think about ACS to give you better resources and quicker answers and advice. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Right. Yep. So the well, it's another topic, and Sweet Commerce. When we started using Sweet Commerce, then we found the same thing, like short timeline to going live. You just flip the switch and you're live. Not quite simple. And the platform is designed for business to customer, B2C. It's not B2B. And we were taught that it's B2B because this is what we needed. I know, but the salespeople did. Yeah, but we're a Canadian company. We're exporting. No. Because we're selling to United States and we're selling primarily and like 99% to businesses. We're not paying taxes in United States. Yeah, because they're buying things to implement it in their products. So for them, it's material. It's not. No taxes. And then so that's the thing. The other thing is the limitations in the standard version. Standard version has templates, but customization is limited. Then we had to use, and the NetSuite team is kind of focused on the basic features and limited customization, which is allowed in the standard version. And all the time when we ask for something, they say, okay, you have to go to advanced. Advanced is like WooCommerce. But then the price is not WooCommerce price. Yes. So we end up, well, if you don't have anyone internally to develop things, it's better to use external consultants to. ACS like I said, we tried one time for 18 months and we said we don't want it. Now we are back to ACS, but with better understanding what ACS is. So ACS is a resource that you can use from NetSuite just to get faster to answers. Some things they can fix, they can help. I use ACS the first time we were using it to build manufacturing reports and things like that. And that was everything. My side. You have my contact information, so you can send me any emails. I'll be happy to help if I can. Right, Gavin? You are. We are.
There is something.
We have all the them one by one. So automatic bunch of electric
Good question. Don't know.
Good question.
Anybody?
Various different ways, so some of them need have the dimensions, some of them have the like weight specifications. So those two different kind of items, I don't want to have all the attributes listed on the.
Just do it by create a custom form. And only have those fields showing in the form. So create a form called whatever.
For item,
For different product area.
Yeah,
like a customized item form.
yeah. And then you can have the form default for that specific items as well. That's probably the best way.
So when I create the form, I have to specify apply to which item.
No, when you edit the item, you can change the form and it should stay the same to the next one.
In different
Right.
forms.
Okay, so when I create it, item.
You can change the form even when the item is taken.
Right.
Yes, but how can they do for the existing ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, do a CSV.
Yeah, we can do
For the existing ones, they already have the created the form, right? So when I edit, I use another form to edit again.
You can do a CSV import, so when you do imports, you can choose which form.
You can tell
applies to.
Yeah, what form applies to the item.
So under the since it's the import for the items, and then there is a field I can choose for which form.
Yeah. Default form for the item.
And because when I download it, it's always such a.
You have to just set under company information.
Yeah, I think I set up.
The- You gotta customize the size of your item so it's not so big.
Yeah,
There's a recommended size for the picture. Yeah, there's logo forms here, and there, if you click on it'll tell you how big it is. Company information. It's probably on the report then, isn't it? It's on the report.
It should
I'm
be
not sure.
the report design.
Anyways, I gotta go. Thanks, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.